Honestly, with this film, I don't know what to say without giving anything away about the movie itself. So just enjoy my review of Fresh. Fresh. Now, Fresh is directed by Mimi Cave and stars Edgar Jones and Sebastian. And I'm going to try and give as little away about the film as possible in my review of it, but I do apologise if I accidentally give something away. But anyway, basically this film follows the story of Edgar Jones' character, who's basically trying to find the right guy. She's using all these different dating websites to try and find the right guy for herself, but it's just not working. That is until she meets Sebastian Stan's character, who is the perfect guy. He's perfect in every sense of the word, and basically, long story short, Edgar Jones' character and Sebastian Stan's characters end up hitting it off. And basically, they have such a good bond, there's such a good relationship that actually they plan on going on a weekend away together. But then when they go on this weekend away together, essentially you find out that Sebastian Stan's character has an unusual appetite, and things take a drastic change. And that's basically the setup of the movie. Honestly, there's a lot more to it than that, but that's basically the setup of the film. And oh my god, I thought this film was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and it really caught me off guard. I hadn't heard anything about it really. I'd seen a couple adverts for the movie on my phone, or like scrolling through stuff on like, Instagram or Twitter, but I didn't really think anything of it. But then yesterday I sat down to watch the movie, not really knowing what to expect. And honestly, I really enjoyed it. Like, it's a mix of Get Out, Us, well, with, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's mixed in there with The Silence of the Lambs, but also it's mixed in there with Ex Machina, and Once Upon a Matter of Loaf and Death. Honestly, it's a mix of all those movies. Get Out, Us, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and, Silence of the Lambs, and what I said, Ex Machina, and Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death. Try and find a film which mixes all those movies together, and that's what this movie is. Honestly, I was watching it thinking, okay, that's like Get Out. Okay, that's like Us, Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out. Okay, that's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, that's like Silence of the Lambs. Okay, that's like Ex Machina, and that's like Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death. I just love that I threw that one in there alongside, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Get Out. I threw, Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death in there. But yes, that's the truth. It's like a mix of all those movies. And some of those movies I don't really like that much. But the thing is though, the way this movie uses some of those other movies, sort of narrative techniques and sort of, memorable moments from those movies in this movie itself, in Fresh, is really good in my opinion. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I must admit. I don't really like that movie, but I prefer fun horror movies, and when I watch that movie, I just don't find it fun to watch. But this movie's got a bit of that in here, and actually having that bit of that movie in there, having that bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this movie works really well. But also, like I said before, it's got a bit of Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death in there, and just in such a good way. But also, it feels like Get Out, and not in a bad way whatsoever. It feels like it's almost a dark version of Get Out. Like, Get Out is a dark movie, it's a brilliant movie, but it's a dark movie. But it also has that mix in there where it's a bit more dark than Get Out, but not quite as sharp. But it has that feeling of Get Out, which really works in it as well. Like, I love Get Out, and I loved how this movie used some of the same narrative tropes of Get Out as well, and I really like that, not to give too much away there. But yeah, you can clearly see all these different influences in the movie from like Ex Machina and Us as well, and honestly, it works really well. I was surprised by how much this film was borrowing from some of those other movies, but doing it in a way where it's kind of honouring those other movies. It's kind of saying that without Get Out, without, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, without The Silence of the Lambs, without Ex Machina, and without Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death, this movie wouldn't exist. And I really like that about it. And also, it's got some really daring twists. And it's one of those movies where you think you've got the twist, and then another big twist will happen, and then another big twist will happen, and it just keeps twisting and turning throughout the entire runtime, and I really like that about it. Honestly, it's a proper intense thrill ride that keeps you guessing throughout, and I really like that about it. I really like the fact that it's intense, and you're sitting there, and it's quite suspenseful, and you're sitting there watching the movie, and it's both scary and funny at the same time, because like the British black comedy Sightseers, this is also a black comedy, this is also a dark comedy, and the moments in it which are kind of funny, and you're kind of laughing, but you're not really sure why. Like, there's one scene in particular with Sebastian Stan's character. By the way, Sebastian Stan in this movie, he's a bit dodgy to say the least, not to give too much away there, but he's a bit dodgy. But yeah, anyway, there's one scene with Sebastian Stan's character where he's preparing some food and basically he's dancing along to some music, and the scene is both scary but at the same time though kind of funny. And it's things like that which make this film really unique and in a really, really good way. And on to performances, you know, Edgar Jones and Sebastian Stan give two killer performances in the movie. Honestly, their performances are killer, no pun intended, but yes, their performances are so good in the movie. And like, Edgar Jones is brilliant, and so is Sebastian Stan. Honestly, Sebastian Stan keeps impressing me with his roles recently. You know, I recently reviewed him in Pam and Tommy, in which he was brilliant in, and then he's gone from Pam and Tommy to this. And I'm not going to say too much about that, but they're two very different roles, and he works really well on this movie. Honestly, Sebastian Stan is incredible, and he's a character you won't forget anytime soon. And also, like the film Get Out, this film has, you know, those subplots which can provide a bit of comic relief to the whole situation in the movie, and at the same time, these subplots also have some meat to this story. But yeah, the subplots in the movie are really fun to watch, but also add more narrative depth to it and add more narrative twists, and it's really, really well written. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed watching it because I really didn't expect to, and it's a really well written movie because at the start, not to give too much away again here, but I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, but I do apologise if I'm going to give some away. But basically at the start of the movie, you'll think you're watching one movie, then about half an hour in the titles come on, and then you realise you're watching a different movie, a completely different movie at that. And I like that quite a lot about it. But saying that though, the film does have a couple of problems in my opinion. It isn't perfect and it isn't amazing. Because in the end, the third act of this movie was a tad bit, I don't know, it wasn't anticlimactic, but at the same time though, it wasn't as good as the rest of the film in my opinion. Like, I thought the first act was great, I was really liking it because it was obviously building up to something, and then you find out what it's building up to, and then I thought the second act was absolutely brilliant. I thought the whole middle of the movie was so good, and it came in the edge of my seat in the best way possible. But then the third act of the movie, although it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, it wasn't quite as strong as the first two acts in my opinion. Everything just kind of sizzled away, and there's like 3 different endings. I don't really feel like there's one solid ending, which I just wasn't the biggest fan of. Although saying that, I could say the same about the Batman recently. You know, the Batman has about 3 different endings, and I love that movie. But the thing is though, in this movie, I just wanted one solid ending, like Ex Machina has. But this movie didn't have that in my opinion. It just kind of ended. Like, something happens, something happens, something happens, and then the movie ends. Not to give too much away there, but the ending wasn't my favourite part of the movie. I just didn't think the third act of the movie was that strong. I still liked it, I still think it worked in the movie. I just think it was a weaker section of the movie overall. And at the same time though, there are some other problems in the movie, but I'm not going to go on about them, because you know what? I had a really enjoyable time with this film. I really did. And actually, I'm surprised it's already released on streaming. You know, as far as I know in the UK where I live, as far as I know in the UK, this movie is only on Disney+. And I just think that's such a big missed opportunity. Honestly, this is the sort of movie which people go and watch at the cinema and have a lot of fun with. I had a lot of fun watching it on my TV yesterday, but the thing is though, I was sitting there thinking I'd much more enjoy this in the cinema. I'd enjoy this much more in the cinema because it's a sort of movie which a lot of people would like Get Out, which had a theatrical release. You know, a lot of people have fun with Get Out because it's on the cinema. And I feel that would have been the same with this movie, but it didn't have a theatrical release, and I'm not sure why. It's not a problem with the movie at all. It's a problem with the distribution of the movie. But still, I kind of wish I had a theatrical release, because I could see a lot of audiences having more from this movie in a theatre, in a cinema, than they are at home watching it on their TV. I still really enjoyed it, but I feel I would have enjoyed it a bit more if I watched it in a cinema perhaps. But then, saying that though, I personally myself might not watch this in the cinema because I'm not always the biggest fan of these types of movies, not to give away there, but I'm not. But still, I think if this film had a theatrical release, it'd be getting more buzz around it, and a lot more people would have enjoyed it, rather than watching it at home via Disney Plus or whatever streaming service they find this film on. But nevertheless, like I said before, it is still a lot of fun, and I did still enjoy watching it, even though I did watch it on my TV, which I kind of wish I didn't, but I did in the end, and I still really liked it. It's got a lot of fun moments, and it's got a lot of moments which are like, oh, I don't know where this is going, and it's kind of got that feeling like Ex Machina, where there's some really weird moments, like moments when the main characters are dancing, and you know something is about to happen right after they start dancing. And I think it's things like that which make this film unique and distinctive and different, but at the same time though, also familiar. It's a nice sort of mix, like I said before. But also films like Get Out, Ex Machina, Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and, you know, Water Government, A Matter of Life and Death. But it does it in such a way that it kind of feels familiar, but new and unique in its own execution of its story. And I really like that about this movie. Hopefully making sense there. I'm not sure if I am. But the thing is though, yeah, it feels unique but familiar and in the way you want this film to be. Honestly, it's great. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's got 2 lead killer performances. But at the same time though, the other performance in the movie is fantastic as well. And it's really well directed in my opinion. It's well shot. And it kept me on the edge of my seat until the very end. Even so I wasn't the biggest fan of the third act of the movie, I did still enjoy watching it, and I thought it was a lot of fun overall, and I would definitely recommend it. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that fresh. I'm going to say that it's an 8 out of 10. Honestly, even so I got my problems with the third act of this movie, I did still enjoy it. I really did, and I am happy that I did. I'm happy that I enjoyed this movie, because I didn't really know what I was getting myself in for. And sometimes you watch a movie like this, which has gone primarily to streaming, and you're kind of like, is it going to be good? Is it actually going to work? And then, surprisingly enough though, this film was really good. It's actually better than some horror movies like Candyman and like The Invisible Man that I've seen in the cinema before. And also, it has that feeling like The Girl on the Train, where you don't really know where the story's going, and I really like that. But the thing is, like The Girl on the Train, when you do find out where the story's going, it's a bit anticlimactic. Actually, it's very anticlimactic in The Girl on the Train. But actually, in this movie, much like Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley, you don't know where the story's going. And I was sat there halfway through watching this movie yesterday and go, I don't know where the story's going, and I'm really enjoying that. You know, like, the third big twist happened in the movie, and then I was literally like, oh, I don't know where the story's going, I don't know where the story's going, and I absolutely love that when I'm watching the movie, and I don't know where the film's going to end. I don't know how the film's going to end, and that's how I felt when I was watching this film. Much like Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley, which I absolutely adored, this movie is unexpected, and you won't guess what's coming. I hope I haven't given too much away about the narrative. I tried to give as little away as possible, but in the end, it's a lot of fun. It's one of the movies which is just so fun to watch. I don't know why it is, but it is. It's just there's something about it which makes it unique and different, but at the same time not familiar. And I love how it takes all some of those past movies which I talked about, you know, like Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Life and Death, which is a brilliant movie, by the way. But yeah, I love how it even takes off Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Life and Death, but at the same time it takes off other films like Ex Machina and, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, and so on and so on and so on. I really, really like that about it. I think it's unique and yet familiar in its own way. And I wonder if the director, by the way, I wonder if the director sat down to make this movie and thought, you know, I'm going to use this as one of my big inspirations, Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Life and Death. I don't know if she did. I don't know if the director did. But, you know, that's what I kind of felt like when I watched the movie. That's what I felt like one of the big inspirations were. And I'm not saying it was, by the way. I bet one of the big inspirations wasn't Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Life and Death. But for me personally, when I was watching the movie, that's what it reminded me of, in more ways than one. But anyway, I'll let people go and explore the film themselves and see if they feel that same inspiration in this movie like I did. Anyway, but nevertheless, I really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's by no means an amazing movie. It's by no means brilliant. But it is a really fun ride. It's a proper thrill ride, and it'll keep you guessing to the very end. And stick with it as well. Don't watch the first like 20 minutes and give up. Wait till the opening titles come at least, because then you are installed for a very different movie and a very good one in my opinion. And I really, really enjoyed it. And like I said before, I would definitely recommend it. It's on Disney Plus right now, and actually, I really enjoyed it, and I didn't expect to whatsoever. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that fresh. I'm going to say that it's an 8 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Fresh? Please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this video, and look forward to seeing many more both film and TV reviews coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!